Welcome back, everybody. We're at the Fernandina Beach Songwriters Festival. What a beautiful day. We're here with Steve Bogard, a legend, Songwriters, written a #1 hit in the last 40 years, every decade. He's quite the guy. We're honored to learn from him.
Pleasure to be here, man.
Thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. It's a great event.
Oh my God, beautiful. The river's right across the street. It's an amazing facility. I wish the people will show some shots later to the crowd. But so you've been in this industry so long. You've had so much success with it. Like, take us back. Like, why did you love this business? Why did you love the songwriting side?
I had a band when I was about 12 or 13 in Tampa, and we played this it was called High Time. It was kind of like a Dick Clark show, kind of American Bandstand. And we were a pretty popular local band, made a little money, through high school and stuff. The director of the show said, your fans would like your performances. We were there every 2 weeks. Better if you had some original songs. Okay. So about 13 or 14, I started to write songs.
That's awesome.
And then about 16 or 17, maybe my senior year in high school, senior year, I took a trip to Memphis, met a guy named Larry Rogers, who was with Bill Black's Combo and all that. He liked the band. We brought the band to Memphis, got a record deal on Scepter Records.
Wow.
Didn't last long. It was like a couple of singles that had a little regional success, but not much. And then took the band on the road. But when the band broke up, I went back to Memphis. So there I met and wrote with Dan Penn and Spooner Oldham and of course Larry. We had a top 20 R&B hit when I was like 19. Then the band, then I got a chance. I was going to Memphis State for a little while and got a chance to move to Miami with a rhythm section called the Dixie Flyers. And we wrote, so I got a publishing deal with Jerry Wexler and Tom Dowd, legendary Atlantic Records people, and went down there. And I was there when we cut Layla and Derek and the Dominoes and for an Aretha record. I got some cuts even as an old teenager on Dee Dee Warwick and Delaney and Bonnie and some of those rock and roll people. And from there, that was in Miami. And so when the Flyers left and Atlantic pulled up roots, I stayed in Miami for about 12 years, met my lovely wife, had a couple kids, did jingles, got a record deal in Canada and England, and had some things out there. But then I guess it was maybe 82 or so. I was in Criterion. I opened up a Billboard magazine and saw a song that I had written 11 years prior when I was in Memphis, that it was on the charts for Marty Robbins. It was a top 10 record. So I called my publisher and my friend, said, what's going on? He goes, man, I've been trying to get a hold of you. You got a hit record on your hands. So it won a BMI award. And I thought we were doing okay. And my wife, Beverly, just said, do you want to be rolling your super reverb into doctors' houses when you're 50 and playing Feelings and cover songs? And I said, probably not. She said, well, let's just move. So we just took a 4 and an 8-year-old, 8 rooms of furniture and a black lab, put them in a U-Haul with a big wheel strapped to the back and hit the road with no gig and a couple of grand in the bank and moved to Nashville in about 82 or 83.
That's amazing. God, those are awesome. So when you hit Nashville, what?
Well, the first person at that point, they used to call it a 5-year town. You couldn't get a pub deal unless you were there for 5 years. Now it's a 10-year town, if that.
Right.
So the first person I called was Larry Rogers, the guy who had signed me 11, 12 years prior. And he said, well, I don't pay much, but I have a deal with Welk, which later became MCA. And he said, you can write for me. So my first draw was $50 a month. And but I got to do some demos.
Yeah.
And I got to hang out with people like Hall of Famers, Roy Burke, Charlie Black, still my friends to this day. Charlie's passed, but Rory actually introduced me at the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame induction in October.
That's
They
awesome.
put me in the Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
It was a thrill. I mean, I didn't think I could be that thrilled. There was so much love in that room. It was incredible. But anyway, I wrote for a little while. Bev was mostly a stay-at-home mom, but she got a gig at Red Lobster.
Yeah.
And we struggled for a year or two. And then gradually I started getting cuts and having hits.
Yeah. And it's really like, it just happens, right? I mean, you were doing the same quality over all that time. And what is it divine intervention, right place, right time?
It's a lot. It's a lot, that Malcolm Gladwell 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
You got to write a lot of songs to get to the, I was writing 200-300 songs a year.
Wow.
And, out of that, you pick the gems, or the business picks the gem.
Yeah.
And so it's that. It's also networking. It's also just like playing tennis. You want to play with somebody that's a little bit better, but not somebody that's going to smoke you. You don't want to be intimidated, but you want to play with, you might learn something. So
Yeah.
I got to write with some really good writers, and you just, I mean, they say you can kind of teach songwriting, and I'm part of NSAI, which Nashville Songwriters Association. I was president for 13 years, and it helps developing writers and young writers.
Right.
It helps them learn stuff. But it's really hard to actually teach songwriting, and that's the tough thing for young people now. Is the business has changed so much that a guy like me can't afford to get with a complete newbie,
Yeah.
And let them absorb, because most of the cuts we get, we write with the artists.
Yeah.
We write with Dirk Bentley, or we write with Dustin Lynch, or so the business has changed in that regard. And to me, it's hard to teach songwriting, but it's not hard to learn it if you get in rooms with really talented people.
Do you like the collaborative approach now, like what you're talking about with Dirk Bentley, how you're doing it now? Like
I do. I like both.
Yeah.
And I still write quite a few 100%ers.
Yeah.
Which Sino has changed all that. I can do an iPhone thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not the best singer in the world, as you'll hear. But if I can get it across,
yeah,
and gets AI to not mess with it too much,
yeah,
I can get a good demo that way. So I write alone, but Nashville is such a collaborative town.
Yeah.
And it's such a joy to have regular co-writers that are friends. You share your life experiences, you share your values. And so the sum is way better than two people. You come out of a room going, wow, we wrote that. That's better than,
absolutely.
That's better than we are. So
right. And just the different perspectives, or how they see like what you wrote, they interpret your lyric maybe different than what you're interpreting. I would think would give that value.
Yep. And there's a lot of trust involved.
Yeah. Well, you love it, obviously. You've done it your whole life.
Yep.
The hard times getting through, like what always pulled you through on that? Like when you were having the hard times?
Even money's down now. I've worked hard at NSAI and in DC to get streaming revenue back up somewhat. Still got a lot of work to do, but I think what keeps you going is the songs you hear. Someone sent me a demo today that I kind of brought a lyric in a room with an artist and a good picker, and it just knocked me out. It was really, really good. And so I guess I'm a song addict, a junkie.
Yeah.
The songs get you through.
It's in your blood.
Yeah. The songs get you through.
George Strait was one of my favorites. I know you did some stuff with George Strait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How is that working with George Strait? Is he a pretty good guy? I'm just curious because I like George Strait.
He's a spectacular person.
Yeah.
I got to give him the President's Award at the Grand Ole Opry for NSAI 2 years ago.
Oh, man.
And they let me and my buddy Jeff Stevens up on stage to play Carried Away and Carrying Your Love With Me.
Oh, that's a great song.
And he was great. He was awesome. It was just wonderful. Writers don't have sometimes if you're co-writing, you do. George didn't co-write for a long time. Yeah. Now he's trying to help his kid Bubba, so he writes some with Bubba, and he probably writes with the chair guy. a lot, but
Yeah.
you don't get a lot of interaction. I know Dirk's pretty well, but George is a great gentleman
Yeah.
and just a nice man.
I was curious. Yeah, I always thought he seemed to be like an up and up guy. I was curious from
Just a
someone that knew him, was he, was he a
nice
good
guy,
guy? Yeah.
great sense of humor,
Yeah.
all that.
What did like with this is our second time at a songwriter festival, this one here at Fernandina Beach sponsor. Like, what are your thoughts on these? I love this kind of intimate feel. Like, what is your feel about what we've seen is like the songwriters should be highlighted more in formats like this to kind of hear their story. Like, what's your thought on things like this and all the songwriters coming together and
Well, it's
kind of the
great.
public seeing
Yeah,
behind the scenes, really,
yeah.
right?
It's great on a lot of levels, and people, the audience loves to hear the stories behind
Yeah.
what inspired the songs, and they really don't have that much awareness that there is such a thing as a professional songwriter. What that does, if the public knows, then as we try to fight for uh, parity for the kind of compensation we should be getting,
Right.
which once piracy hit and streaming hit, songwriter income fell off a table.
Yeah.
So, awareness of the public and consequently the legislature and the judges and all that is every little bit helps. Every little bit plus it's great to be appreciated.
Yeah.
When the money isn't great, it's great to have somebody go, "Wow, changed my life."
Absolutely.
I get such amazing stories. 2 days ago, my son sells whole house water treatments, and he went to a really nice construction site where the guys building and fairly affluent folks, and the wife says somehow maybe and his dad being a songwriter came up, and uh, the wife says, "You know what my favorite song is?" And he says, "No, it's If You Ever Feel Like Loving Me Again by Clay Walker," which was not a big hit.
Yeah.
But it was a chart record. And she said, "That's just my favorite song. Me and my husband broke up in December after 17 years of marriage, and then we got back together in September, the following September. And I play that song in my car every single day on my way to work."
That's all.
And that's the theme of the song. And it was like a teary moment.
Yeah.
He said, for them.
Yeah, the impact, like you don't really know what the impact is. You can impact one person, like two
No.
people, and that's awesome. I think your point though also too, just understanding like just a general person that loves music or kind of is a distant from the music industry, they don't understand all the streaming.
No.
They don't have any idea like the payouts or who's getting paid or what. Like their perception is, oh, all these guys are making a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't know. So I think highlighting that for us has been interesting because we didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we didn't have something in the game.
Yeah.
But we wanted to say, hey, this is kind of how it works. This is
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
So
The whole business has changed from one trendsetter, a guy that knows everything like a Tony Brown, finding the right act and promoting them and getting them to be a star, to trying to there were 143 million ISRC codes issued in 2024. And so that's individual singles. And out of that,
I say that again. How many?
143 million.
Oh my God.
And 20% of them didn't get over 10 streams. So getting your head poked out of that crowd, which is why I think your thing is great. I'll sign up for it.
Yeah, band groupies, yeah.
Band groupies. I'll sign up for it when I get home and have stuff in front of me. But get your head to poke out of that huge crowd. That's the task today.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. I mean, I don't even understand it, but there are a whole.
Yeah, you think it wouldn't be hard because everyone talks about all these great things. Oh, I've got all these social media, whatever. It's noise. I think there has to be something specific where you go to understand it.
Yeah.
Like you can't say, well, I'm on Facebook. I'm on all these things. It's actually, even though distribution can be great, if you hit viral, the reality of it, it's disfocusing you from really, trying to say, hey, this is my trade. This is who I am. This is what I'm about.
Now, fortunately, the artist part of it pays better than the songwriter part, which we have two copyrights. One is for the sound recording and one's for the underlying work. And it's about when I first testified at the CRB, the master made 10 to 17 times as much as the songwriter part.
Yeah.
We got it down now, a couple of copyright royalty boards. We got it down to it's about 4-1 now.
Yeah.
So, the standalone songwriter that doesn't, like me, I'm not an artist. I've produced some records back in the day, but producers aren't what they used to be.
Yeah.
They used to be guys that just knew who to call and take the big picture. Now they're actually, guys hands-on on the board.
Yeah, it's a more complex business than like we ever would have imagined.
Yes.
So many moving parts in it.
Yes.
But I do think, the royalty side of it and all the streaming arguments and all that stuff. I mean, I feel for some of these people. We were amazed how many artists that came to us and we were listening to them in the studio, like literally how great they were.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, well, we could make this person a star. They're that good, but just like you said, 143 million, releases, it gets lost in the swamp.
It does. It's really a difficult thing, but, luckily there's a bunch of really smart young folks that are figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, the social media managers are, that's the way to get ahead.
Yeah. Well, you've been a pleasure, and I appreciate you like sitting here with us and sharing your story and just your expertise and knowledge. I mean, it only helps to educate people on how stuff works, because we all think when we're so close to something that, oh yeah, everyone knows. Well, they don't. And that's part of the problem. They don't know there's a discrepancy or disparity in your pay grade for someone that created a hit that, sold 100 million records.
Yeah.
And this guy or lady or whoever, like, barely made anything.
Yeah. So it's a pleasure to be able to kind of spread the word. And
absolutely.
Like I said, I was real involved. NSAI for National Songwriters Association International. We got 50 chapters all over the country and in some other countries. And it's a really good entry point for people who you meet other people at your level, connect, you co-writing, and learn a little bit, not all of it, but a little bit about the business side.
Absolutely.
Of stuff. So
absolutely. Well, I've asked everybody, because I always like someone to give advice with your talent, your skills, your success, like any words of wisdom in closing to the songwriters out there.
Yeah, probably the skill part of it. You can learn by writing a lot. The nuts and bolts of how to rhyme and where to rhyme and the forms of songs. That all will come, but if you ignore the heart of it, if you ignore who's going to want to say this and who's going to want to hear it, and what's it going to do?
Yeah.
Well, like I always ask myself, well, if I wrote this title the best it could possibly be written, what would it make people feel?
Yeah.
And that the feel and the heart are the essence of it.
Well, that's good advice.
Yeah. Otherwise you got parts. You got Frankenstein without the
absolutely
light.
Yeah, I always say don't fall in the technology. I always say don't fall in love with Frankenstein, meaning whatever we build, don't fall in love with it, because you're always going to have to add a different nose or ear or whatever.
No doubt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Bogard, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.